What's going on, guys? Today I find myself somewhere warm, a place where the water flows like wine, where beautiful women instinctively flock like the salmon of Capistrano. I'm talking about a little place called Pine, Idaho, a place where it seems that only trees surround you, but take a harder look and you can always see something amazing through the restraints. With Mountain Home to the south and nothing but vast mountains to the north, you have no choice but to see something amazing every time you visit. Elevations range from 4,000 to 8,000 feet, and the weather can change drastically with no warning. The trails range from easy flowing 2-track to rocky stream climbing single track. The choice is yours. And don't forget to subscribe and come along for the adventure. Well, what's going on, guys? This is Carl with the Racerred channel. Checked my Onyx off-road maps. This trail shows to be a little bit difficult. I've been on it once before, but I didn't go all the way up because of the stream that you have to ride. Man, I was thinking about what somebody said in an interview on one of the podcasts I was watching, talking about, I guess he was talking about thinking about the future and thinking about the past, both of which will kill the present moment. And man, that's true for a lot of people, including myself. But also it can be a good thing to think about your future and reminisce on the past if you are disciplined with how you are thinking about it. Being cognizant of where your thoughts are going, because we all have things that are regrettable, but I find it's best to focus on the good stuff. I don't always do that, and that's certainly the case with when talking about the future. In my own future, I try to stay on the side of optimism, but with talking about politics and the future of the United States and all that stuff, it gets a bit more difficult to be optimistic on a lot of topics. Just depends on which way you're talking about it. The United States has become quite the machine. Kind of like it's hard to take Google out because Google is such a big company. Well, it's hard to take the United States out because it's such a big country, and it's kind of gobbled up because of different partnerships, other countries. And I think that the countries that don't want to partner with us, we just automatically list them as enemies. Taking my time. Sometimes taking your time is good. Sometimes it can lead to overthinking. I've got a good soft rear tire right now. Overthinking applies to those moments right there when you're going through a stream crossing or riding a stream. If you overthink, really what you're doing is sabotaging the present moment. It's an example of thinking of the future too much, your own personal future. But that phrase really caught me. He when he was discussing past, present, and future, and how if you think about the past too much and the future, then you're caught between two thieves. They're both stealing the present moment. I thought that was, wherever that came from, that's pretty insightful. Although it doesn't always apply, I don't think. Rumination is a true thing, though. Like, rumination is the part where you are obsessing over the past or obsessing over the future to the point where it steals your present moment. And lots of studies at this point have proven that you can create more stress hormones in your system by thinking of the future than what actually happens almost all the time. Almost every single time. Those stress hormones are no joke. Your body and your brain don't know the difference between the situation actually happening and when you're thinking about it. So you age yourself, you make yourself completely unhappy because your body essentially thinks it's going to die all the time. However, I do enjoy reminiscing and trying to remember certain things. And my memory isn't the greatest a lot of times. I've had so many trail rides and so many adventures. Sometimes people say things and they're like, oh, you remember that one thing? Especially young people like my daughter. She'll ask me, you remember that a couple years ago? And I'm like, what? I don't remember that. Well, she has a lot less in her memory bank than I do. She has a lot less. Time is relative, and to her, 2 years is it. That's all she has to remember. Like, that's all she remembers, but she remembers pretty much every detail. Whereas I have many years to remember. I'm 37, so I've got 30 plus years to look back on and remember, and I do remember a lot of it, but unfortunately the things that I remember really clearly are not often the things that are enjoyable to remember. I mean, adventure usually includes some kind of mishap, and the adventures that you remember always include those. In the moment, it sucks. Like, I chase beautiful moments, and I think we should all chase those. But you won't remember them. You won't look back on it and be like, "Whoa, you remember that time?" The stories that I tell people are the stories where things went incredibly wrong. Like the time when I went to Washington to do some races, I was suffering from all kinds of illness. It was right at the beginning of COVID. I had something going on. Still don't know what was going on. And my ambulance broke down on the middle of the freeway, and I won't get into the entire story. It's already up on YouTube, but it's a crazy story. And that's something that I remember, and I actually wrote that down so that I don't forget every detail of that. And I've had countless races that I've traveled to and experienced that were amazing experiences, and they went smoothly. I don't really tell you those stories. Maybe I could, but I don't know if anybody would listen. Pain is a lot of times the depth in life. A lot of times the painful moments are what makes us, gives us depth. Everything else seems a little shallow, surface level. And the military knows this. The military puts you in a state of stress in order for you to remember things. But the military stories I tell are oftentimes the craziest ones. So the ones that caused me the most stress, which would be going into special training and stuff like that, that was very, very brutal. Caused a lot of stress, therefore it's in my memory and something I like to reminisce on, not in a negative way. Reminiscing and ruminating are two different things. But those are the adventures. That's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to look back on that stuff. And I video pretty much, I mean, most of my rides. I would say 95% of my rides are filmed at least a little bit. Street rides, I don't film as much. But if I'm riding in the dirt, usually I'm filming. And what makes it interesting? What makes this stuff interesting? It's because it's so diverse. So much can happen. There's so much present danger. It requires a lot of movement, and you can feel it sometimes in the video. Howdy, howdy. Good to see you guys again. Into the forest, the wild jungle. Butterflies floating around. This is the world I like to explore, man. Doing it on foot is way more detailed, but I would still do this on foot, honestly. It's a lot more detailed, a lot less exciting, but I do enjoy hiking. You take in all the information around you a lot more. Not so much in a problem-solving sense. You can take in the scenery, it's way more relaxing. Right now, I'm taking everything in, but my vision is narrowed, so I don't have a wide field of view right now. It's all narrowed. I'm taking in detailed information about the trail and that stuff that's right outside of the trail, and it's real world, real-time problem solving. A lot of mathematical equations going on, but it's all real world. It's not on paper. Gotta hit stuff, pivot your body to the side a little bit, angle the bike right, loosen up my knees right here so the bike can move. Give it a little bit of freedom without moving me. so glad I got to ride this trail through. Now I know what's at the end. A lot more stuff that I need to explore. Today, a little bit crunched for time. I'm not camping by myself. I've got kids, my wife, my parents. We've got lots of people back at camp. I did meet a subscriber. Gosh, I'm horrible with names. Fish is the last name, I believe. It was good to meet him. Really seemed like a really good guy. Really fun to talk to. I love meeting subscribers out here. It's awesome. It's awesome to know that there's people out there watching. I know that I've said this before, but if my video gets 1,000 views, I just see it as a number, really, and unless you guys are commenting. Once you comment, then you become a lot more real. And it could be commenting literally anything, like good ride or whatever. And there's probably about 5% of people who watch my channel who are not on the side of recreationalists like myself. There might be some commies, but maybe I'll convert those commies. This is really a nice area to camp, though. I've got kind of a stream coming off the river right next to my camp, and then literally like 40 feet beyond that is the river. There's like an island between my camp and the river, so it's really nice. And then I've got a reservoir nearby. I took it all the way to the intersection to crosscut.
Okay. Did you make it to the top of the hill at all?
I went all the way to the intersection of the trail, the T intersection. Okay. I wouldn't do it without riding boots, at least. There's a section where you go into the stream and you have to climb up the stream. It gets pretty gnarly right there. But
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, might as well, dude. Have a good ride, man.
Stay safe.
Yep. Have a good ride, man. Those guys are not going to make it. No offense, but they're right at the beginning of the trail here, and it's about to get real for them. Should be a good story to tell if they try real hard. If they try really hard to get up this trail, they'll have a good story to tell, and it won't be a shallow one. It'll have plenty of depth to it. Lots of painful moments. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you stopping by. I'm at the end here. Catch you on the next video. Peace.
Oh
Alright guys, I just wanted to thank my Patreon supporters. That would be Lance Darnell, Jim Jolson Jr., Kurt Kinghorn, Daniel Roush, Brian Thomason, Wade James, Moto Creek, Nathan Young, Jason Froling. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you.